Next scenario we're going to talk about is a simple door removal. This door removal is not going to take, we're not going to need to get rid of the fender. We're simulating the fact that we just have one person trapped, the door is wedged, that's all we have to do is get the door off. We do not have to go through crushing a fender, moving the fender out of the way. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come in, we're going to break the glass, and we're going to do what's called a vertical crush. We're going to take our jaws and stick our jaws in here, and at a slight angle, open the jaws. When we open the jaws, the door is going to start to pry away from the patient compartment and start to expose the hinges. There are some cars that you can just use the jaws. If you extend the jaws all the way, sometimes you can pop the hinges right off the A-post. If not, you got to come in there and cut them off. And then once we cut them off, we're going to follow the same procedure that we did on the other side to remove the door, nadir pin, etc. All right, now we're bringing the jaws in, and we're going to keep the jaws. What we want to do, what's real important here, is to keep the top arm of the jaws level. So when we do that, what the bottom arm will do is it'll push the car door away from the victim. Done, and we started to expose the hinges here, but we didn't get much movement out of the door. So now what we have to do is we're going to have to get rid of the fender so we can expose our hinges. So now we're going to come in with our jaws. Let's put our jaws right in here, Dan, and get rid of the fender. What we're going to do now is the same thing we did on the other side. We're going to come in, right? Our third arm has been cut, our hinge has been cut. We're going to pinch the door, use the tool as leverage, open the door, cut the staple. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to use the jaws to remove the door, but we're going to use the nadir pin side. 20 years ago, this is how we pulled cars apart. We always attacked the nadir pin side first. But with the modern automobile, that is changing. A lot of times when you attack the nadir pin side, all you do is separate the door. You separate the outer skin from the inner part of the door, the strongest part of the door, and you get no push. You don't get the door to separate. Right? All you're left with is a bunch of metal, but you really haven't moved the door at all. But we're going to give it a try because it's important that you know how to use this, because if other ways don't work, you still have to have other plans in your pocket that you can go to. So we're going to show this scenario. Right? You may not need it all the time, or there may be a time when you roll up on an auto accident that the nadir pin is open a little bit. You can attack the nadir pin right away, and you can spread the door off the nadir pin. That's fine. But what we're going to do now is we're going to come in with the spreaders, same way we did in the front, vertical crush, and we're going to spread them, trying to get a purchase point so we can get our jaws in there. Once we get our jaws in, you want to stay about 6 inches above the nadir pin, right? You want the door to bend away from the nadir pin. If you go too close to the nadir pin, a lot of times all you do is rip metal. So right now, what we're going to do is come in with our jaws, extend the door, and attack the safety. Right, in this scenario, what you're seeing was when we first put the jaws in, the arms kind of went too far into the car and we weren't getting the prying away of the door. What we were doing was actually just crushing the door down. What you need to do is move your jaws out a little bit and let the tips of the jaws work. Once we put the tips here, we started bending the metal away from the nadir pin, and we were able to get the door open without even having to cut the nadir pin on this one. All right, another technique that you can have in your toolbox is, instead of cutting the hinges, you can just simply use your jaws, position your jaws such, and just pry the hinges off the post that they're on, either the A post or the B post. So in this scenario, we're just going to show you, with the use of the jaws, how we can get the hinge off the post. So what we just showed you is different ways that you can take doors off a car. It really all depends on what presents itself on arrival. You don't have to go through the more difficult maneuvers if something presents itself that's a lot easier. But the reason we take the fender is so we can expose the A post here in the event that we need to raise the dashboard. But if you're not raising the dashboard, the person's not trapped, and you just need to remove the door, you don't have to go through all those steps. Just go through any one of the other ones we just talked about to get the door off the car. Right? With the B post, as a review, we always cut high on the B post, stay away from the mechanism for the seatbelt, and we cut low on the B post also for the same reason. By removing the B post, you open up the engine compartment, the passenger compartment, and EMS has just easier time to get the patient out. Right? Anytime you're going to raise the dashboard, the first thing you have to do is remove the windshield. And there are a number of ways you can remove a windshield. One is with the Glassmaster. The way I prefer, the quickest way, and I also feel the safest way, is to use a battery-operated Sawzall with a wood cutting blade or the multi-purpose blade. What you want to do is we want to make 2 holes in the windshield. Once again, make sure that the patient is covered. We're going to put a hole with the Halligan in the top of the windshield and in the bottom of the windshield. Then we're going to insert our Sawzall and cut the windshield out of the car.